Welcome into the Talking Stick podcast, your home for everything Westside Warrior sports. Got a very special episode lined up for today. We are honored to sit down with a true warrior through and through, Chris George, the new first-year superintendent at Westside Consolidated School District and proud class of 98 alum. From student all the way to leading the district now as the superintendent, Chris has lived the warrior spirit through and through in every role that he's had. Now let's pass the talking stick over and let's welcome him into the mix right now. Chris George. Chris, appreciate you coming on to the talking stick with us.
Hey, Marcus, how you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. So, most people that have been around Westside are going to be very familiar with you. I mean, you've been there essentially, your entire life from
forever.
A teenager to...
It's okay. Say forever.
Forever. All right, we'll go with forever. But if there's anybody that's maybe new to the district and they're not real familiar with you, just tell us a little bit about you and your background.
So, as you said, I'm a alumnus of Westside. I've quite literally been there my entire life. My mom was a 34 year teacher in the district. I believe as quick as she could bring me up to school to get work done, she probably did so. 1985, I entered the district as a kindergartner. That coincides with the first year that the elementary was open, and that was the first year that the entire district was consolidated in one location. Progressed my way through my 13 years of school. Graduated in 1998, as you said. Loved my time. Loved my teachers. Loved my coaches. Went to college at ASU. I knew early on I wanted to continue the coaching aspect of things. I did some time as a student manager at Arkansas State, working with the men's basketball team, and figured out really quickly I wanted no part of the travel that came with college ball. So that got my focus set back on getting into high school. Fortunate enough in 2003, 2004 to be able to come back home, and that was something that you don't quite expect, but it was a great opportunity, and started off in basketball, coached some secondary sports, golf, secondary sports. You do kind of a lot of everything. Was in football for a year. I did track. I did soccer. I did all the other things, but basketball was the focus. I did 7 years coaching boys athletics, assistant to Mark Whitmire for 6 of those. That was the greatest experience, quite honestly. And I say it all the time. That was the best decision of my career whenever the school decided to hire him instead of moving me to head coach. Leadership things that I learned and the bond that we had together, working together. But that culminated in a state championship in 2010, I believe. And then I moved to head girls basketball coach for 6 years. At that time, I was also 5 of those years dean of students at the middle school. Then I moved up to the high school as assistant principal for 4 or 5 years, and then principal. And now you look back and it's 23 years in, and I'm somehow sitting as superintendent. So I'm honored. I'm completely honored that I get to be the superintendent at Westside Consolidated School District.
Well, I mean, that's about the only role you haven't checked off on your list yet. I mean, it seems like you had a couple things you listed off there that I had forgotten of roles that you had. So, I mean, you've done a little bit of everything literally at Westside, from being a student all the way up to where you are now. I want to back up for just a second, though, back up to your time at Arkansas State. That's actually when you and I met. We met when you were a graduate assistant with the men's basketball program.
It's funny because you were doing the Dickie Nutt show, and me being that student manager, my brother had done it a couple of years before me, and I guess he just didn't want to travel the road to Little Rock every week anymore. So whenever I came in, I would meet you at whatever odd time the videoing would be done on a Sunday morning, and then I would take off to Little Rock. And I actually, once my wife got together, before we were even engaged or whatever, she would run the road with me. So I had somebody to go, and made
Yeah.
that much more tolerable.
Yeah, and how far has technology come that we're no longer having to literally courier a tape to Little Rock? Now we can just drag and drop a file and send it to
Absolutely.
wherever we need to go.
Save a lot of miles.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, a lot of miles. Uh, so back on your journey at Westside, man, you all your years from student to when you joined the staff and faculty around, what'd you say, around 2003?
2003.
Somewhere.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Um, seen a lot of change, man. What sticks out to you as being probably some of the biggest changes you remember?
Well, so, one thing about being there so long, I have seen the change, but it all kind of blends together. So it's all normal for me. But, we'll have class reunions and I'll do tours of the school and that type of thing. And they can't believe the things that are the same still, but they really can't fathom like not having the old auditorium in the main building. And, in 2011, we built the Fine Arts Center, and at that point, you completely gut the old auditorium. You take some of the seats out. I think actually Todd Williams has some of those seats sitting in his house as a
Oh wow.
movie room type thing. But you take a sloped floor and you see all the dirt that's brought in, the concrete that's poured on top of it, and now you can walk back to a certain location and still see where the back of the stage was at. So that's one of the more impressive changes that I can remember. But just in general, one of the biggest changes for me is going from a student when I had all my teachers, and then I become their coworker, and now quite literally there are two people in the district that were there when I was a student, Tammy Romines and Tammy Butts. So I about drove them all out.
How wild is that though? The teachers that were there when you were a student are still in the district, which that says something to do the commitment and the testament and how much they love the district. But for them to be there and then for you to go from being their student to now essentially being, in a leadership role, technically their boss. I mean, that's kind of wild.
And it really is. And even the teachers that have come and gone, a lot of them still come back. Peggy Alexander and Stephanie Neely and Gail McDonald's been to a couple of these. She was my favorite teacher in school with anatomy and physiology, and so having those come back, and of course we hire all sorts of people from anywhere they come. We want great teachers, people that are great for our kids, but a lot of time that's the people that I went to school with, the people that I taught. It really, no teacher orientation this year. I'm looking around and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm getting so much older. You are getting so much younger, but there's some of these people that I had as students. So it's really fantastic the way it's worked.
Chris, we've hit on this a lot about you being alumni, and you said it yourself. You've been at Westside forever. Talk a little bit of how special it is to be able to work at your school where you grew up. You wore the jersey. You went to the classes, and now you're overseeing the district. Talk a little bit about that warrior pride that comes along with being able to work for your alma mater.
Well, I really think that the advantage of that is the people know you. I've built those trusting relationships, but I can guarantee you that there is no one that cares for this district more than I do. And there's going to be things and decisions that come across that people may not understand, they may not like. Some may love those decisions, but in the end, it's about what we're doing for our district to keep driving it forward. What are we? Every decision that we're doing, how does that impact our students? How does that impact our community? And like you said, having been here and lived that, there is no one who wants better for this place than I do.
Absolutely. And it is a special thing when you go through and you get to graduate, you go across that stage and get your diploma that says Westside, and then you get to come back and work there. My mom had a similar situation with her alma mater, and my uncle and several of my family members, they all worked and taught, and some moved into administration at the alma mater. And it's a little different because it's more than just your school. If you've been involved like you have, and like my family was with their school, it's more than just school. It's your way of life almost. It means more. I hate to sound cliche, but it does mean more.
It really does, and one of the key things that I've always said is I want to leave it better than when I found it. So, 1985, I came in and we found it one way. And of course, it was new building, and it was all the things. But over time, things get older, and we keep doing things the best we can. And fortunately, here we are sitting on this past Monday night. The school board's approved a project that's been years in the making, and there was a lot of effort and heartache that went with that 4 years ago, 2002.
Yeah.
Whenever we had to just kind of back off because we weren't fiscally ready for that. But to have the meeting on Monday night where we've done all those other things that we needed to do to make sure that we could handle the growth when it came, and to have that approval, this is one aspect of we're going to leave it better than when we found it. So that was a really great moment on Monday night for us.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because that news broke earlier this week, the week that we're recording this episode, and it was one of those deals where I looked at it and I saw it and I'm like, yes, because I remember the conversations a few years ago and how there was heartbreak. I mean, there was just heartbreak involved that it was going to have to be pushed back. And, it's one of those things you'd work so hard for so long to get to that point and to be able to do it. And then you almost get a brick wall thrown in front of you. And it's like, okay, well, we need to back up and kind of regroup here. But the fact that, the plan was put into place at that time, the plan's been executed, and now you can move forward with it. I mean, it has to be one of those moments where you can kind of pump your fist and say, yes, we get through it.
It is, and I'm on the end of I'm the one that gets to kind of roll this thing through the door, but by no means did I have any of that work that's been done leading up to this. I mean, you can look 2 superintendents ago with Dr. Brian Duffy and his Vision 2027 that he put out, and the whole thing behind that. It's the kindergartners who were coming in at that time. Where are we going to be at in 2027? Which just so happens to coincide where this building's going to land. So the vision that we had there, listening to the community of the things that they wanted with the district, and a lot of those we've just kind of checked off as we went. Mr. Gaunt coming in and the leadership that he provided, and again, him and the board members that were part of that, where all the work went in. We thought the number was going to be where the original quotes come in at, but when the final bids came, we're living after COVID. We've got supply chain issues. We've got just the skyrocketing cost of doing business, and it got too big for us. And we could have quite possibly tried to pull that trigger and move forward with it, but it would have been irresponsible. And we're sitting in a much better place right now, thankfully, for the decisions that were made. I had Darren Harpo come in my office the other day to pick up basketball or volleyball tickets. And I was like, man, this thing that y'all started however long ago that was, we're finally, I hope, going to get this thing taken care of tonight. So I so much appreciate everybody that's had a part in it. And I'm just happy to be able to be here on the back end and do the best I can over the next couple of years to make this thing an actual building.
Yeah. And I'm excited about it. I'll still be around because I've got one in middle school and one in elementary. So, I'll be here to see this thing through, and I'm excited to get the construction started and get everything moving. So
the biggest point for the community is we've listened to things over the years of these are the things that we want. And to this point, we've not had to go for them to ask for their financial backing with a millage. And whenever that's not something that we take lightly. So as we can provide the best opportunity for our students, for our athletes, for everyone in the community, we try to do it to the best of our ability. And, hopefully this is a springboard, and what we build, people are going to love. and we can start looking even further into what future expansion would look like.
Yeah, and it's an exciting time when you can talk about expansion and it be more than just kind of a blue sky dream, and you can look at it and say, "Hey, this is something we can do." That makes it even more fun to put it on paper and have it in front of you.
Absolutely.
So, with you moving into, you've been here forever, we keep hitting on that, but I think that's a huge point with you is that you have seen a lot over your years here. What do you see as the biggest challenge for Westside as the whole district?
I think it's just the continuing to try to upgrade some things. We've got the situation we have in the greater Jonesboro area. You've got multiple school districts that are within 15 minutes of each other. You look at Valley View, their boundary line is actually probably half a mile from our building. So it really bleeds over into people have choices. And the thing that resonates with anyone who comes to us, they talk about how much we care for our kids, how much we do with what we have, and those things, they're great. But just being able to push forward and stay really competitive with other people around you, and again, big shiny buildings, that doesn't make the high school or the public school experience. It's I tell my kids will laugh, and your daughter, she can tell it to you. If I was ever on stage in front of my entire student body, I want to make sure they understand that if nobody told them that day that they loved them, I did. And that their teachers did, and everybody at that district, all the decisions we make were for them. So that's the thing. We try to overcome some of those barriers with the way we do business.
Sure. And I'll be honest, that's one of the things that drew me and my family to the district because, we all came from very small schools, smaller than Bay, probably on par with like a Ridgefield Christian, but we were a public school. And the family type atmosphere, the care that you saw from the teachers and the administration and everything, we saw a lot of those same traits in Westside when we were deciding on where we wanted to live. And that's one of the main reasons why we landed where we did. And then here we are all these years later. I mean, my daughter's already graduated, and then, the two boys have come into the picture now, and I've got two more. The running joke is that I'm on the lifetime plan because I have a 19-year-old, a 10-year-old, and a 7-year-old. So
long time left in that booster club.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Cindy's already told me that there's a succession plan in place, to bring me back into the mix because it just so happens that her son's going to graduate, and then that next school year is when my oldest son will be moving into 7th grade. So she's already got it all planned out. So,
well, and I would be remiss if I didn't talk about my own my own family dynamic here. As a coach and my wife nursing. It just, her parents took care of my boys in the afternoon. And I had one, my oldest child, he actually graduated from another school. I lost that battle a long time ago. But whenever Cole, my current senior, which is crazy, when he got to be, through 8th grade and going to come into 9th grade, it was like, son, you're coming to Westside. And, I'll just say he was not very happy there for a bit, but within 3, 4, 5 days, 2 weeks, who knows, whatever he would say, he would never want to go anywhere else. We've offered opportunities with ROTC and some things, and heck, I even started a swim team just to get him. And we've had 4 or 5 people the last couple of years that's done swim, trying to branch out and do different things that we've not ever done before. But it's going to be so special in May when he walks across the stage. Now I won't be calling his name this time, but I'll be up there, and that's a dream of mine to be able to give a diploma to him. So, but yeah, having that family feel is big. I did it with my teams. I've tried to do it with my teachers. And students, and we're at a place where I really think people recognize that.
Man, when did you and I get old enough to have kids that have graduated high school?
Oh, I know my oldest one's graduating college in December. So
Wow.
he'll be trying to figure that next step out, and hey, I know he's got his plans that he wants to happen, and hopefully that all works out. But yes, I've got two seniors right now, so it
Wow.
hurts Mama's heart. I promise
Oh,
you.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure it does. Okay, man, we've been serious long enough. We're gonna have fun with a couple things here, and then as we put a bow on this episode, you know this as well as I do. The concession stand at Westside has a reputation. Take a lot of pride in the food that we serve and the level of barbecue that we put out and the burgers and the dogs and everything. You got to pick one item. What's your go to at the concession stand at a football game?
So my item's rarely out there. And I actually talked to Cindy about this last night. Um, the smoked or fried bologna
Yeah.
on the
Okay.
Texas toast. That's that. I've my growing up, it was like kind of the running joke in the family that I didn't like bologna, and if they wanted me to play better or play harder or whatever, they would yell out, "We're going to feed you a bologna sandwich." But over time, I guess I got to where I like it. But that is one of the things that comes out on the menu a couple of
Yeah.
times a year, and she's told me that she's got something scheduled to where it's going to be out there, and I promise you that's where I'm going to be at.
Yeah. I guess, we kind of treat it in Booster Club. We treat that kind of like the Cadbury eggs or, some of the candy that only comes out at Christmas time. We want to keep that big value around it. So we have limited releases on it. But I'm kind of with you there, man. The smoked bologna on the Texas toast, it's kind of hard to beat.
Barbecue
So
sauce, it's fantastic.
yeah, it is. It's very well done. Cindy and everybody that cooks does a wonderful job with it. So all right,
Absolutely.
last question. We'll let you get out of here on this. Um, your Spotify playlist. What kind of music's on your playlist?
I don't even have Spotify. So I think my kids do, but I listen to a lot of Sirius XM. I listen to it
Okay.
off my phone too, but
What's your
you know,
favorite channel on Sirius?
honestly, it's a mix between the message, so
Yep.
some Christian music,
Yeah.
a lot of road trip radio. Anytime the Billy Joel channel is on and I can find it, I'm literally religious about that for the month or so that it's on.
Yeah.
But then I also listen to a lot of books when I'm driving
Okay.
or whenever whatever it is, and every single morning I start listening to the Bible. I'm 3 years into it at this point, and
Oh
that's
wow.
one of the biggest things that I read slash listen to. But
Mhm.
I've got numerous over leadership, over world leaders, and just different type of things that I listen to through whatever app of choice.
Okay. All right. Well, there we go. We learned a little something extra about you on that. So appreciate you sharing that with us. And
Absolutely.
also, I appreciate you taking time to come in and talk with me here on the Talking Stick podcast. And looking forward to see what this year brings. We're right here at the beginning of the year. We just had our benefit game last night against Piggott. Westside come out on top of that. Off to a good start. I talked to Coach Gar this morning. He said we're injury free, so that's always a plus when you come out of a game and you're able to get injury free and get ready for the full season. And I think we're going to have a great year at Westside.
I do, and with all of our sports, we've got
Absolutely.
golf and tennis. They've been kind of out there doing it. Cross country's getting close to starting. Last night, I went over to Jonesboro and watched our volleyball team play in one of their jamboree matches, and they won 2 of 3, I believe, over there last night. And then I hightailed it over to Warrior Stadium and got there as I guess there was an interception right at the beginning of the senior high game.
Yeah.
I heard coming down the hill, and it was off to the races. So I think we've got some great coaching hires this year. We're in this place where we have a new head volleyball coach, we have a new head football coach, we have a new head boys basketball coach that 21 years of Coach Whitmire doing
Yeah.
that thing. It's going to be different, but we have a new softball coach with
Mhm.
Coach Swartz. Um, we've got some great people filling those roles there. Kids are loving them. Every time I see somebody kid wise in the hall, I'm asking, "Hey, how's your practice going? How's your coaches? What's your thoughts?" So it was great to see some success on both volleyball and football last night, and I know those teams are excited to get this thing going for real.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm glad you mentioned all the changes in the coaches, because that was one of the reasons that I had to kind of bring this podcast to life, was because there was so much change coming into this year. You know, like you said, Coach Whitmire stepping aside. You know, you were stepping up into the superintendent's chair, which means somebody had to fill the chair that you're
Mhm.
in. You know, and it's kind of a domino effect. And then you had all the coaching changes as well. And I've got my list of people I want to talk to on the episodes, and pretty much everybody you named off is on that list. So, you know,
And pretty much everybody I named off there is I was in this weird position of I'm still principal. I'm going to be superintendent. We didn't have a principal at the time, so
yeah,
I have my recommendation on every single one of these head coaches, and I need them to do well.
yeah.
So I mean, I'm joking when I say that, but it's I really do believe we've got quality people who have shown in other places the type of coach they are, and we're super excited to have them on board, and I expect that they're going to get the best out of the kids that they have put in front of them.
Absolutely. And it's going to be fun to watch. And it's going to be fun to watch everything else that's going on with the district, with the expansion and everything coming down the pike in a couple years. So thank you so much for coming on. That's going to put a bow on this episode of The Talking Stick. We'll see you next time.